Hi, this is Harry DeCasion at the Kirksey Rec Center in Livonia, and I've got a video for you today. It's a little bit different. This is, the best way to describe it is it's half motivation, half beginner explanation of what we do when we go to the gym or exercise at home, why we're exercising, how to do it, all those things for true beginners. Now, beginners can fit into different categories. Maybe you've never exercised before in a formal level in a formal gym, or maybe you're used to and you took a 5, 10, 20-year break and then you're back at it and you have no idea what to do, or maybe you just you go all the time but you're really not sure you're doing it right, so you stick with these few things you are comfortable with, but you're really not sure how to deviate from that and improve. So that's kind of who I'm talking to today. So this video is not going to be a true exercise video. It will teach you how to begin your exercise program, and we will do some. I have some bands and dumbbells here, and we'll do some things, and you're going to be able to do that and replicate it. But it's more about why we're here and what we're doing, and are we doing it right? So the basic questions are, why do we exercise? And everyone knows why we exercise. We do it to improve our health, and there's a lot of health considerations we have. We improve our heart, chance of getting heart disease, stroke, diabetes. We lower our cholesterol. We lower our blood pressure. If we have arthritis, it actually helps with arthritis. I don't know too many doctors I've never had a client come to me and say their doctor told them not to exercise. Never had that. So pretty much anything you have, any condition you have, is going to be improved with exercise. So we know that we should do that. There's bonuses that aren't necessarily health related. We look better and we feel better. We have more energy, and those are bonuses, and that's great. But why? Those aren't really it. We're doing it for our health. So that's why we're here. So there's nothing more important than your health. I like to say, if you had a gift to give anybody in your life that you loved, the one thing you give them is good health, and you can do that with exercise. And it sounds like a big concept, a big idea. It is, but you can do it. And I see people at my gym here, and I know many people that have done it over the years. So let's start from the beginning here and talk about what are we trying to accomplish and how do we do it. And those are the two basic questions that we have when we exercise. So we're gonna take the how do you do it and push that to the side. We're gonna do that later on. But what are we trying to accomplish? So, like I said, just exercise? No, we're trying to do something specific, and we're talking about specifically what we're trying to do. So, first thing would be heart rate. Get your heart rate up. There's nothing more important. The heart's the most important muscle in the body. Improving your cardiovascular system is the most important thing you can do when you come to the gym. Okay, elevating your heart rate. I'm not going to advertise for anybody, but there's all those watches out now you can get. There's other ways to monitor your heart rate, and those watches also monitor your steps, which is a good thing to do too. But you're going to benefit from getting one of those because you're going to be more aware of what's going on. Okay, so we're trying to elevate our heart rate. So I'm going to tell you a formula. We're not going to get too detailed here. There's different formulas to use. So like I said, the most important thing is your heart rate. So how do we calculate where our heart rate range should be? We have 220 as a base number. We subtract our age. I'm going to subtract 50 for an average 50-year-old person. So our heart rate max is 220 minus your age, 50. So our heart rate max is 170. Then we take a percentage of that. So 60 to 80% is a healthy range that a lot of people kind of do. I think some people can go higher, but we're talking to beginners here. So maybe this is a good range, a 60 to 80% of that 170 number. And if I think off the top of my head, 102, 136. That's what 60 to 80% is. Obviously, I have it written down right there. I did that before. So 136, 102. So what does that mean? If you are walking, doing some type of exercise, whether it's outside, whether it's in a gym, wherever you are, if you're at 80, 85, 90, if you really are looking for a cardiovascular workout, you got to pick it up a little bit. Get it up over 100, 102. If you're walking and you're just walking your dog and you're in the 150s, 160s, you might need to slow down a little bit. You might want to have it checked out. I'm not saying that you should never get up that high, but if you're just doing a basic walking program and you're struggling to keep your heart rate in that zone, that might be a cause for concern. But most people are going to feel comfortable in that range. And it's going to be challenging, especially at the higher end of the range. If you, like I said in that example, if you were in the 125 to 135 range, that might feel somewhat challenging if you're a beginner. But that's where you need to be, okay? So you're improving your cardiovascular system. That is job one. Now, remembering that, and that can be done anyway. It can be done on an elliptical, a treadmill, a bike, walking, swimming, anything, even lifting weights even too, if you do it at an intense pace and with the proper weights. The second thing that we're going to do, this is kind of like a 2A and 2B. I'm going to call this, the first one is posture. Posture is so important. Bad posture leads to a ton of problems, leads to injuries. Even people who are really strong and fit and they have bad posture, they'll end up getting hurt. So we want to avoid that. So what you do is you start from the top down with posture. So if you're watching this, you got to stand up with me and start with the eyes, start at the top, eyes and the chin are up, okay? Chest is up. And I heard somebody say this, I don't know who it was, do the Superman. I'm not a big Superman guy, but I guess you grab the shirt and you pull open and you show that S. That's the position of the chest. It's up and out, okay? And also throws the shoulders back, up, back, and down. Not just up and back because that's shrugged, that's out of alignment. We want to be up, back, and down, and then put our hands down like this. Then we zip up our abs. That's another one I stole from somewhere. It's kind of like you're zipping up like this. You tighten up, everything is up. Boom, up and out, back, chin, eyes. That is how we stand. And a little tip, my hands are facing up. That's anatomically correct. Most people don't stand that way. This is okay. Thumbs forward, we'll get away with that. That's okay. A lot of people stand like this. If you can see the back of your hand, if you look in a mirror and you look down and you can see the back of your hand, your shoulder's probably rotated internally. Okay, that's bad. Rotated externally is good. If you're doing a chest press, a shoulder press, you want that external rotation and then to be able to push out, and that creates a little more space in that shoulder. If you're internally rotated and you try to do this, I can feel already, I feel like that's how you get an impingement. You get roll back and it frays that tendon in there, and we don't want that. And that's when people can't lift their arm up or they get without pain. So keeping those shoulders back and down is good. Now, like I said, that's anatomically correct. So a lot of people are never going to get to that. We're there. I guess we can settle for that. That'll be okay, but not like that. If you're doing this, get them back, okay? And then, of course, our lower body, we just kind of want our lower body to be, aligned properly. Our feet about shoulder width apart, soft knees. Don't tuck your pelvis under. Kind of keep it straight up. And when you zip up, you should be able to do that, okay? So I said there was 2A and 2B. 2A is posture. 2B is this spine. Now I'm going to turn sideways. There's a neutral spine. I don't have perfect posture. I know very few people who do. We're going to stand up straight and keep a natural S-curve in our spine, a neutral spine. If you can keep that, there's a natural curve that goes up and down the back. If you can keep that through basic movement patterns, that's the second most important thing you do, other than getting your heart rate, because you're protecting your lower back. When you bend over to pick up something and you kind of round your back when you pick up and get it out of that natural S-curve, you're going to hurt yourself. You will hurt yourself eventually. Maybe not the first time, you'll get away with it the third time, but eventually the straw that broke the camel's back will get you. You will, even if you're not picking up something heavy. That's why when people pick up something very light and they do it and they feel something back there, you did it wrong 100 times. It was just the 101st time that just pushed it over the edge, okay? So protecting your back is number 2 as you go down and up through any movement pattern. And then number 3, the next most important thing we do is we get stronger, okay? And I'm going to work backwards at it. Weak people have no endurance, muscular endurance. You can't do things. You need to sit and rest all the time. Weak people get injured. Weak people age rapidly. That's a terrible thing to say, but you know that there are 70-year-olds who look old. There are 70-year-olds who look young, okay? A lot of that comes from strength, okay? And once you start doing that, you start limiting your activities, You start feeling unsure of yourself, and you stop doing certain things that you like to do. You stop just, going places or doing things because you just don't feel comfortable and safe doing it. So those are the things we're doing. So we're getting our heart rate up, we're protecting our back, and we're getting stronger. And if we can do those things, that's a good start, okay? That's what you're trying to accomplish. So how do we accomplish it? That's part 2 here, and that's where we're going to get into the basic exercises, okay? So we'll just take it through some basic stuff, and we'll do a lot of explanation here. We're going to start with a warm-up, and if you've been inactive, like I said, if you're a beginner here, and you probably are if you're watching this video, you're going to, take it slow. Some things you can't do, take your time with it. We're not going to be, pushing too fast and too hard, okay? So let's start with some basic arm circles. Arms out to the sides, little circles, okay? And I'll stop occasionally to probably take a drink. And you can have one too. So remember these things. These are all important. Other direction. Now, you're thinking an arm circle isn't hard. Your arm actually weighs something. Starts to get tiring if you're a beginner. That's okay. You can put them down occasionally and then go big, go back up. And as we go big here, loosen your neck up. And then go big the other way. Keep your neck rolling around. Good. Roll your neck around. Okay, so to your abilities, wide feet. We're going to do baby squats, okay? I'm going to turn, now let's face this way. So I'm going to keep my hands together. I'm going to do baby squats out, back, and down. So as I turn sideways, back and down. Now you're saying, well, I don't like to squat. Well, you do squat, and I don't know if you can see the chair right there. You get up out of a chair, you're coming up out of a squat. This is just a shallow version of it, okay? Down and up. And there's ways people cheat when we get up out of a chair that you don't want to have to do. So we're just going to do a few more of these. Get your blood flowing. And remember I talked about the back. This is when you start thinking about it. Neutral spine. That zipped up feeling, shoulders back, chest out. Neutral spine. We stand all the way up here, okay? Stand tall when you stand up from a squat. Down and up. One more time. Down and up. Very good. Now we're going real low. Fingers interlock. We're going to go side to side. So I'm going off the opposite heel. I'm turning. I'm not twisting. I'm not twisting like this. Turning. Okay? Got to learn how to move in that plane of motion. 3, 2, and 1. And now shoulders are back. And we're going to lean over. I'm going to face the camera for now. I'm going to go down and up. So we have very soft knee. It's called a hip hinge. We're going to tilt over at the hips. We go down and we stand up straight. Same thing. We're standing up straight and standing tall. Down, up. You're stretching the back half of your body, feeling my hamstrings already. For some reason I'm tight today. That's okay. We're kind of loosening up the back half of the body. Down and up, just like that. We got 2 more. And down. All right, so I'm going to march in place. Pull your knees up, just like this. Now, if you can't do this without leaning, we don't want to lean side to side. We want to stand up straight, okay? If you got to hang on to something, whether it's a chair, a wall, dresser, whatever you are, depending on where you are, you hold on to that, but keep your chest up. Posture. You're going to get sick of that word. My client's sick of me saying it, but everyone needs the reminder. I even need it all the time. I check myself sometimes. I look in the mirror and I got to check myself and stand up straight. And now you're going to do it almost like in track and field, we call it a butt kicker, where the heel comes up like that. The heel's coming up. We're just kind of loosening up the legs a little bit more, just like that, okay? Good, good, good. All right, so now we're going to go to the actual workout. And so we're going to go back first. We're going to do, there's like 4 groups of exercises. So if you said to me, what do I do when I go to the gym? Or what do I do when I'm home? What do I do when I exercise to do these sections? So the first thing we talked about earlier, cardio. Okay? Cardio can be anything you want, but get your heart rate up, get it in that zone. Okay? Work hard. If that's 5-10 minutes, that's fine, because you're a beginner. Eventually that turns into 15, 20 minutes. Then you change vehicles. Sometimes it's an elliptical, sometimes it's bike, whatever it is. But now we're going to go into upper body, okay? So if you have a set of weights, all we're going to need is a set of weights and a band, okay, and a mat. So if you don't have a mat, you have a floor. So I'm going to take one dumbbell, and if you have two sets, I would grab a light one, and I'm just going to grab this guy here, and I'm going to have the weight here, and I'm going to extend it from my body a little bit, and then I'm going to come down. So I'm into like a squat, but now I've got some weight attached to my body. So now, and we're going to keep going. So now when I come down, I don't want to round. So if I didn't do it earlier correctly, I'm sure not going to do it now. So you got to really, all the time, you got to keep your back perfectly straight, neutral spine. Boom, just like that. Keep going. 2 and 1. And then you bring it like this from our chest to the sides, turn, reach and punch, back to your chest, turn, reach and punch, chest is out. Remember we talked about earlier, shoulders are back, right? Boom, just like that, back to the chest. Sometimes you lose your balance here. I'm shifting my weight. Look, I'm here. This is my right side, I got 80% of my weight right there. 80% on lefty. And that takes a little stability and control. Your legs and your core. Good. Now, we're going to grab the second light dumbbell. Okay, just like this, or dumbbell. Doesn't matter if it's light. If you only have one set, it's both. So we're going to have our hands here on the sides, and we're just going to hold. So now, you're thinking, well, I'm just holding 2 dumbbells. But if you slump over, and if you have any kind of weight, these are 15 each, 30 pounds. If you start slumping, doing this, carrying groceries in, that's bad for your back. It's going to put strain on your back, okay? So we want to stand up straight, shoulders back. Everything's aligned. May not be comfortable, may not be easy, but you don't think of yourself as putting yourself in danger right now if you're aligned. If you're doing this, you might be. So get up and back and hold it there. That's your position. And if you can't do that, you need to get lighter and practice it empty-handed. Okay? So if you can, hold the weights, and then we're going to do what we did before, but now we have a light dumbbell. We're going to just go down nice and light and stand up. Nice and light. Back is straight. Boom. Just like that. Now, these are too heavy. Now, I'll put it down on the floor. Just hold it like this. Shoulder back, down, and straighten it up. Now, you're thinking, this is killing my back. It shouldn't be if you're tight. Tighten it up. Zip up those abs. Abs are tight. Down, and protect your back. I said that's the most important, second most important thing we do when we exercise. Down and up. Slide and stand. Good. One more. Slide and stand. Very good. Okay, so now I had said upper body, so now we're going to get into the upper body a little bit. There are 2 basic movements. If you're a beginner, 2 movements that you need to think about, and they're simple. I'll keep it simple. Push and pull. Push exercises the big muscles of the front of the body, the chest, the pecs. That's what you're going to do when you do any pushing exercises. You also work your anterior deltoid and your tricep. When you do a pull, pulling towards you, that's the big muscles of the back, the lats right here, the posterior deltoid and biceps and forearms, a lot of ancillary little muscles. We're not going to get into that, but we're going to keep it simple. Push and pull. So let's start with push, okay? So I'm going to get on the floor, take your weights on the floor with you, okay? So when you go down, I'm going to just kneel like this, have my weights next to me, okay? I'm going to go like this, and on my back. So there's 2 moves we're going to show today. So we're going to do chest presses. Hold your weight like this, don't hold it like that. Hold it in the neutral position. I'm going to do the other one. If you have a bench, by all means, use a bench, because you can get a better range of motion. You have the floor. Everyone's got a floor. So let's start on the floor. I'm going to kind of tilt down, knees up, bring my weights up to here. Don't hit my head with the water bottle. Bring it to here. And remember what I said about rotate the shoulders back and down, and then press. Now, the one negative with the floor about the range of motion, I'm stopped right there. But that's okay. because sometimes if you're a beginner, you're going to go too low, and that's not going to let you go too low. So just down to the side of the chest and press. Just like this, Simple Simon. Boom. If you could hear me breathe, you got to keep breathing. Down and up. So we're just going to keep going. We're keeping it simple here. We're going to do 3 sets of chest, 3 sets of back. Now, I'm going to say, if you're done, you're done. I got 2 more reps. There's 1, and there's 2. Now, when you get out of this, turn your hands toward each other, elbows come down, and then I can put it down like that, and I can put it down like that. Don't let it clunk too hard. So I'm going to do a second set right now of chest, and I'm going to turn around, and we all know what this is, and these are push-ups. Obviously, you don't need any equipment for push-ups, so if you didn't have any, I probably should have started with the push-ups, because if you didn't have a weight, you could do that. So push-ups are intimidating for a lot of people. They don't have to be, okay? So I'm going to remember, I'm going to keep my shoulders back, okay? If I do this on a pushing, I told you earlier, pushing or pushing up, you're going to create a little problem for your shoulder right there. So we want to make sure we do that as we get into position. Knee push-ups are perfectly acceptable. I'm going to show you the different variations of them this round, okay? So my hands are a little bit wider than shoulders, but underneath them. They're not up here, okay? I want to go there, slightly wider, and on this mat, that means just my thumb is on the mat. That's okay for me. Get yourself in position, pop yourself up, tighten your core, everything is straight, and I'm going to, by the way, look up there. Not down here. I'm going to look up there, and then I'm going to descend and up. So you're saying, well, this isn't beginner. This is push-ups. So you take a knee and go like this. And if you can't do that, you'd go this shallow. Look how shallow I'm going. That's okay. And if you can't do any of that, you just hold the plank like that. And if you can't hold it, keep going, everybody, if you can. But if you can't, you rest and then get right back to it. And then one day, you'll be able to do this. Well, maybe not, but you know what I mean. You have a goal. You have options. 3, leading with my chest. 2, keeping my eyes up there. And 1, and done. Now I take a knee. Very good. Very good. Okay. Pushes, pushes. All right, so I'm going to do a pull now. We're going to do 2 sets of pulls. Got to go way back here. So, bands are great. Got 3 kinds of bands here, medium heavy and extra heavy. I'm going to start with medium today. And what you do, a lot of people have, they're adjustable in the sense, if you're going to invest in anything, I like bands, they don't take up a lot of space, and they're adjustable, backing up. If I'm doing something and I back up, it's a little bit harder. Obviously, over time, they do wear a little bit, and they'll get a little bit looser, but that's okay. So you would tie it to a door frame. They usually come with something you can put through the door and then use it as an anchor. But now I'm going to use this. We have hooks back here, way out of frame, but I'm going to go back here anyway. And here's what I'm going to do. I hooked it to that, and I'm going to do a pull. Push, pull, back muscles, okay? Just like this, and now I'm going to set up first with a good strong back, and then pull. And do it this side. Just like this. Pull. So I am not rolling forward and rounding my back. I'm up. You will know why later when we do set 2 of this and how important that is. So my back is in perfect position. It's easier to keep it in perfect position when you're standing up than when you're bent over. So you'd better do it right this way. Okay, I'm keeping my hands in a neutral grip. I could go to an overhand grip or an underhand grip, but we're not going to get into that right now. Keep it neutral. Really hope that hook holds. That comes flying out of the wall. I'm in trouble here. 3, 2, and 1, and done. So I'm going to leave that there, come back to that. I did 2 sets of the chest, right? We're going to do 2 sets of the rows, the pulls. That's one version. Here's another version. I'm going to do one arm row. Tighten your core when you pick up a weight. You've got the light one or heavy one, whatever you want. Think heavy because these are big muscles back there. You're going to have this here. So I told you, stand up straight there. You've got to stand up straight over there, and you especially have to stand up straight here because as I have the weight in my right hand, I'm going to put my left foot forward. I'm going to lean on the left foot, and I got my right hand here, and I'm going to pull. So if I've got any kind of imperfection in my back, and I'm not neutral, I'm not bracing my core, I might be in trouble here. I might put my back in danger. So I want to make sure I'm doing that, and I am. I'm concentrating. And what a lot of people, keep going here, we'll do a few more. See, I'm pulling there, leading with my elbow, 3, 2, and 1, and I'm still not forgetting that. I got to stand up and make sure I'm in alignment. What a lot of people don't realize is the pulling part's the easy part. If it's really hard and you're a beginner, take a lighter weight. It shouldn't be, the pulling part. The hard part should be maintaining your natural curve, okay? That's what should be what you're thinking about. So maintaining your posture as you descend and maintaining it throughout the exercise, that's the important part that you need to make sure you're doing right, okay? And if you're not doing that right, you're going to get in trouble if you use any kind of weight here, okay? So we don't want to do that. So we're going to bend over again. We got the weight in my left hand, so that means my right foot is in front, and I'm going to pull. Pull. See, I'm keeping everything still, and I'm concentrating on my body being straight, not necessarily the pulling. The pulling I'm just doing. And I'm working those back muscles there. I feel them. 3, I don't even know what number I'm on, 2, and 1, and then again, stand up straight. Very good. So I will give you a choice. We're going to do one more set of each. I'm going to give you a choice as the chest. We're going to go back to the chest. You can do a chest press. I'm going to do a push-up. I'm assuming a lot of people, if you're beginners, are probably going to go to the chest press. That's fine. Okay, so I'm going to do the push-ups. I'm going to get on the knees, and if you're doing this as an instructional video, I wish you were down there doing it, but you'll watch me if you're doing that. If you're not, you'll watch how I change the versions of it, okay? There's nothing wrong with doing that, okay? Let's get your weights ready if you're doing the chest press. I'm going to do the push-ups, pop into position, and go without holding your breath. Now, I can do fast ones. I can do slow. I'll take my time, I'll take my knees and go down low, maybe not so low. Still looking up. How about 10 more seconds? Back up here, 3, 2, and 1, and done. Very good. Very good. It's your third set of chest. That's your third set of push. You can do a third set of pull. Go back to the band or pick up 2 dumbbells. So here's how we're going to do it. So the band is going to be 2 hands. We're going to do 2 dumbbells. So if you have the 2 dumbbells, grab them and stand there. And remember, now you've got double the weight. So before I was doing a 1-arm row, my left arm was pulling 15. It's still pulling 15, but I've got 30 now pulling me out of alignment. So it's harder, okay? So it's not just the per, whatever the weight is in each hand. You don't let it pull you out of alignment. That is number 2 on the list. This is why you're here. If you go exercise and think you're doing something good for yourself and you hurt your back, that's why posture is so important, because you really got to maintain that. So I'm harping on it because it's that important. Okay. Chest is up, bend, tighten it up, keep a nice neutral spine, and pull. Now, I'm doing it, I feel comfortable, I got to bend over enough to pull up. Keep going, and if you feel like you're giving in a little bit, you got to stand, reset, breathe, down, and continue. If you're done, that's okay. You can stand up, but I'm going to keep going. I got 3 more reps. 3, 2, and 1, and I'm gonna make sure I'm standing in alignment, and then I'm done. Good, 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 good. Where am I gonna put this? I think I'll put it right here. Very good. So, if you were doing it, that's good. What I was saying was, I'm pulling, and if you feel yourself like you can't stay in that alignment, you're not neutral, or you're not unsure that you are, stand up, reset, keep your hands gripped, boom, down, and continue on, okay? Never just keep going because, oh, I don't want to stand. No, you just take your time, get through it, okay? So, granted, shoulder presses, bicep curls, tricep kickbacks, they all exist out there, but those muscles will work on the big pushes and pulls, and I think if you're going to start with something, keep it basic. Those 2 movements for the upper body, push, pull, I think you'll be happy with those, okay? So, let's go now to the lower body. And I'm going to pull in a chair that you don't necessarily need. Some people might need it. I'm going to turn it just like that. Okay, so a squat. We did it earlier. Did a very shallow squat. Just like this, down and up. And the people who think they don't need to squat. This is an important exercise, okay? So you hear this, it's a little bit of a misnomer when you talk about your knee going past your toe. Should it go past your toe? No, but it's okay to go toward the toe. It's okay at the angle. I gotta get this pack out of my way. As I come forward, look, it's okay. It's like almost right over that toe. That's getting pretty close. But my heel's down. My whole foot is planted. That's okay. That's really what you want. You want this angle here like that to be similar to the angle of your torso. Technically, I'm getting too technical here. But you want to keep the whole foot planted. And we talked about this in another video. We want the tripod, the base. I'll do it on my hand. It's easier to see. Base of the big toe, base of the baby toe, and the heel. Those 3 points of pressure, maintain those points of pressure on the ground the whole time. If you can't get this right, don't go deep or don't do it, okay? You've got to make sure, look, if that's all you can do, that's all you can do. Look, you keep your body straight. You don't have any weight in your hand, so you're probably not going to, imperil your back, but you don't want to start bad habits or continue bad habits. So down and up, and I want to keep my weight distribution 50-50. I don't want to be my left side stronger than my right. I'm not going to push more with my left. That's going to kind of twist your spine. That is not a good thing. Okay, so for true beginners, I have the chair there, and we're going to do regular squats. So everyone's going to do down and up. As we continue that, I'm going to show getting out of the chair. So we're going to be here, and then up, just like that. And you stand tall, like we talked about earlier. So we go down and up. Keep going. If you're not using your chair, just go down and up. Keep going. So when you're in a chair, we don't want to have to do this. We don't want to have to lean way over like that. We want to be upright. Drive your feet into the ground. Stand up. Let's go about 3 more times, everybody. 3, 2, I won't touch the chair on the last one. I just tapped it. And 1, and done. Good. It's the same concept. You are going deeper in the chair, but you have the chair to kind of help stop you and get you back up, okay? So I'm going to turn the chair around for the next part because I might need it. You might need it. So you might need a wall, a chair, something around you to hang on to for this. And it's called a split squat or a drop lunge. We're going to call it a split squat today, or you can just call it a long stride with a pause. I don't really care what you call it. So we're going to get our legs like this. I'm going to keep my left foot in front. My right foot's going to go back. And the toes of the back foot are not going to the side. They're pointed forward. So I want everything forward. My eyes, my shoulders, my hips, my knees, and my feet. All toes point forward. As soon as I do this with my back foot, my hip's over there, okay? We want to stay square, okay? I'm going to square it up, okay? So now we just hold it. If you're a true beginner, this might be a challenge. Holding that like this. Don't hold it then. If you find yourself wobbling, hang on. If you don't, you don't. This is round one. Breathing through it. And stop, stand up. Good. Try the other side. I'm going to put my right foot forward. Doesn't really matter as long as it's the other foot. Doesn't matter which one it is. Now remember, my knee, I kind of like it on this one to be over the ankle, over the midfoot. That's fine. We don't want to go too far forward on this one. So we're just like that. Back toes point forward. But that's still, the front foot is like in that tripod position that we talked about, where the whole foot is planted firmly down. Base of the big toe, base of the baby toe, and the heel. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of stand like this, and I'm going to hang on. But if you're hanging on, by the way, don't lean into it. You got to straighten up, because eventually you're going to need to do that without hanging on. We're just going to hold it. Hold on to it. Now you're using your core. Your core is helping your legs stabilize your upper body. Because if your upper body kind of gets sloppy, your legs are going, what the heck's going on up there? Keep it straight. 3, 2, 1, and up. Now we're going to do a second version of that, and it's going to put it back there again. And you have the option to not do the second version. That's fine. I'm going to put my foot back there, and I'm going to keep this foot here, all toes forward. Remember, everything is forward, okay? Now we're getting looser, right? We're feeling good. Fingers here. Maybe you don't even need to hold on anymore. If you're feeling that, then go up and down. Down and up. Up and down, down and up. Now, you start going, oh man, I can't do that. I'm just losing my balance. That's okay. Just hang on to it. Catch yourself. Maybe give yourself just a little help. Look, one finger might make a difference for you. 4, you probably feel it right in here. 3, 2, and 1. And even if you didn't do the up-down part, you were just holding it, that was pretty good because you're just doing it for a long time. Back to the second leg. We'll do part 2. Okay? Just like this. Down and up. Down and up. And even, I do a million of these, but even me, I feel weaker, less stable on this leg in front than I do the other side. The other side I don't have to concentrate. This one I feel it's always just a little different. You might have that. That's okay. How about 3, 2, and 1, and done. Very good. Those aren't easy. You don't have to do the up-down part, but there's variations you can do from that. You could hold weights. You could do that. You could hold weights and do bicep curls from that position. There's a lot of things you can do, but you're getting the basics. The basics are so important, okay? So you have the squat, with or without the chair, and the split squat or drop lunge, whatever you want to call it. Back squat. You're going to go down and up like that with or without the chair. It's the same move, okay? So that's that. Now we have one more of the lower body exercises, and this is the perfect segue because of what I like to talk about keeping your posture, keeping your back straight. And it's a deadlift. And before you say, my God, what's a deadlift or you're crazy, I'm not doing deadlifts. Deadlifts are basically lifting dead weight from the floor. In weightlifting terms, it's the big plates on the big bar, usually the big guy bending over, making big noise, and lifting like that. And then you 200, 300, 400, 500 pounds. See guys here doing 400 or 500 pounds sometimes. But everyone deadlifts. Everyone bends over to pick up something. It could be a laundry basket, it could be a garbage can, it could be a toolbox, it could be a baby, who knows? It could be anything. You bend over and pick up things. You have to know how to do it. So it goes back to the beginning with the posture, the neutral spine, bracing your core, and bending over. We're going to do it empty-handed first. So let's go empty-handed. I'm going to turn sideways, and I want your first motion to be shoulders back and down. Chin up, chest up. Superman. Zip up. Everything is aligned. Now this one, I'm going to probably go about shoulder width apart, okay? I'm not going to go too wide. Sumo deadlift, you can go a little bit wide. That's okay, because if the thing's in front of you, you're going to have to go with wide feet anyway. But we're going to start narrow this time, and our hands are going to be like this, and I'm going to go back, down, and up. Now, I'm not trying to stay up and look out there, because if I'm lifting something from the floor, I'd have to go see what I'm lifting. I would grab that and stand. So brace your core. So if you can do this, and I am not saying this just to say it, other than your heart rate. To me, if I can bend over and pick up something and keep my spine neutral, that is an incredibly important thing. I guess to me, I would put that second most important thing you do at the gym, because anybody, and I think most people have had low back issues, knows how horrible and debilitating a low back issue is. So you're protecting your back by doing it this way, by bracing your abs. Again, you see at the bottom point, you see my arms are straight up and down. I could grab something out here. I could grab something in here. That weight would be directly underneath my mid-torso chest area. That protects my lower back, and I stand up with both feet even and drive myself and stand tall, okay? Bracing, keeping my spine neutral the whole time. So down and up. So pretend you're picking up something. Hands are loose. I go down, I grab something, and I stand up. Down, grab something, and stand up. Or even, let's widen the feet, and I go down, and I grab something, and stand up. Those are incredibly functional moves. That's an incredibly important move to be able to do. It looks incredibly simple, but it's not. It's complicated. Believe me, there's a lot to it. And when you see some guy doing 400 or 500 pounds, if he hadn't studied that for a very, very long time, he wouldn't be able to walk the next day. But he's doing that, and he has taken the time to learn it, down and up, just like that. So now we're going to do that with a dumbbell, okay? So I'm going to grab this like this, and I'm going to put my hands here, and I'm going to turn just like this so you can see both kind of an angle like this. And I'm going to go like this with my chest up, everything I talked about. Can't do it with my hand here because it's full of a dumbbell. I'm going to keep everything, and I'm going to go down and then come up. Now I've got 30 pounds in my hands, which, you know, it wouldn't put me in the hospital, but I don't want to take a chance. I want to keep my back straight. Down and up. Neutral. Protect my back. 3, boom. 2, boom. And then 1 and up. There. Done. If you have 30, if you have 300, it doesn't matter. Protect your back. That's the goal. If you have, I shouldn't say 330 or 300, it doesn't matter. You should be protecting your back. That's what you're thinking about. So we're going to finish now on the floor because everything tied together like that, and you'll say, well, how would you pick up 300 pounds? Your abs wouldn't be strong enough to do it. That's why we do ab work, okay? We don't love ab work. No one likes doing ab work. Some people do, but most people don't. So what we're going to do, there's 2 types of movements we do on the floor. Flexion, that's like a crunch, and then stabilization, that's like a plank. So we're just going to get on the floor, get right on your mat, move your water bottle, and then I'm going to get on my back, and I'm going to put my lower back. So everything I just said, forget it for 10 seconds. Your lower back does not stay neutral on these. It's the exception to the rule. Your lumbar spine, you have to flatten it out when you do a crunch. There's always one. Hands like this. I'm going to look up here. Chin and chest in alignment. I'll fit a tennis ball under there. Hands behind my head. Regular crunches just like that. Just like that. So now I'm strengthening these ab muscles right here. So I don't want to do too many. If you're a beginner, you know, we don't want to overdo you. You see, I'm not pulling the head. I'm not pulling up on my head. I'm leaving my head in my hands, and I'm just kind of bringing my head up with my shoulders. Now I'm going to cross my one leg, and this is my left knee. My right elbow and left knee are going to aim toward each other. He's staying put. He's coming up and across, chin off the chest. So now I'm working my abs, but I'm also working my obliques, the muscles down the side there, on the side of your abs, like this. And stop. Switch. Other side. Same thing. Up and across. Up and across. You're not doing a million. If you're kind of gassed, you sit there and rest for a second. And you keep going. Don't quit. You just take a small little break. And good. And done. Good. Basic, basic. 2 simple moves. 2 flexion moves. A regular crunch, a cross crunch. Now we flip over and we do the stabilization, the plank, which is kind of more in line with what you would do when you were doing a deadlift or a position where you're bending over to pull a weight. You need to stabilize, and that's where planks come in, and that's why planks are pretty valuable. Although, well, I'll explain in a minute what I feel about planks that go on forever. Pop yourself up. I'm going to squeeze everything tight. I'm not going to be so tight I can't breathe. I'm going to be relaxed but tense, okay? My glutes are engaged, although that's hard for some people to get. My quads are engaged. My core is engaged right here. Obliques, abs, muscles in my back are engaged. Now, I know how those feel. You may not. You may think, what the heck's he talking about? I'm not offended. Take a knee. Relax. So, I hear stories about people saying they do a plank for an hour. That's not an hour. 2 minutes, 3 minutes. They have these contests. Guy can do it forever. Don't do that. If you get to a point where you start feeling like you can do that for 30 seconds consistently, start doing variations. I'll show you 2 variations just like this. We're going to be up into this position, and you're going to tap your fingers. So this is harder. This is challenging. I got 4 points of pressure. I take it to 3 points of pressure, back to 4, 3 different points of pressure like that. That's challenging. That's something that you could use in your real life where you're you have something heavy, you might have to reach and grab something in the other hand. You have to stabilize. The other thing, feet. Just like this. Tap your toe and back. Tap your toe, back. Or keep going, tapping the toe. Or you would do this, which is a slow motion mountain climber. That's your body, your lower body moving while your upper body stabilizes. Those are variations of the planks that you can incorporate into a workout. Don't need to overthink it. We don't need to do a million of them. But those are the basic things that we do. Okay? So, take what I told you today and understand that you're doing all these things for your health, but if you don't do them correctly, you're not going to be able to come back and continue to do them. So make sure you're doing them correctly and make sure you're getting your heart rate up. Now, you may have done doing this and thinking your heart rate is getting up, and that's great. That's great. So you won if that's what happened to you today, okay? So let's stretch out a little bit here. I'm going to do this, and flexibility is important. Tightness, everyone's tight after the more decades we're around. We seem to have imbalances and tightnesses. We're going to bring our heels like this, lean in, and hold. You just have to acknowledge where you're tight, where you don't feel great. You have to try to tend to it, okay? Obviously, I don't know where you are tight. One leg out straight. Keep your toe pointed forward and lean in. You'll feel that in the back of the leg right there. Good. Other side. And remember, you have to be patient with this stuff. If you've been off, if you've never done it, or if you've been off for some time, it takes time. It's going to take a lot of time, probably more time than you're going to want to admit. But we're going to stand up, and you can use your chair on this next one. Or a wall, whatever. Here's the thing. Grab like this and do a little quad stretch. I say it takes a lot of time, and it does. It takes a lot of time to meet your ultimate goal maybe, but it won't take a lot of time for you to start seeing some improvement. And that's a big difference. So if you're working hard, go to the other side. If you're working hard and you're consistent, you can do these things and start seeing improvement in a few weeks. You'll start feeling better. Maybe you'll feel like crap, but you'll probably start feeling better if you stick with it. And you'll start seeing improvements, and you may realize, well, I still have a long way to go, but I am seeing improvements. That's all you need, okay? Hands out to your sides. Don't give up. If you are a beginner, maybe you tried this before, and you stopped, and then you came back to it and stopped, and then said, nah, I'm not going to do that. Fingers interlocked, pull down and back, but don't give up this time. So you'll be happy if you did this a year from now. And it's not about next month. It's about next year, or 5 years, or 10 years. Arm across the chest. And if you think about it in those terms, little short little issues that pop up. Oh, I missed a workout. Oh, I gained a pound this week. They won't matter as much because you're in it for the long haul. Other side. All right, good job. Thanks for doing this today. If you need any help, let me know at the rec center. You did a great job. Thank you.